That's my favorite part. It's between a combination of those things is the people and the camaraderie. And when you get done with it and it's satisfying because you're like, okay, I did that, like we did that as a team with our hands, and like now it's built and we brought that to life.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, and we've got our co-host, Jessie, with us today. Jessie, what's up?
Just enjoying some fun dip, man. What about you?
Well, just got done talking about some coffee with you. I just drank 2 espresso shots. We're good to go. We're getting raring to go.
From like 2 dudes from Utah, some sugar and some coffee.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I was talking about this I've brought this up a few times with people the other day, but we have so many of these little like fancy sugary drink shops, and can't help but wonder if that's just because we're in Utah and nobody drinks coffee, so they're just popular because nobody does coffee shop.
100%, bro. It's like you're allowed to drink that, So it's like let me go pay $5 for a soda that I could have made at Maverick across the street.
But dude, it's more than that most of the time, or a lot of the time. They get insane with these soda drinks, and I'm like, how is that better? How is that better?
And the line is crazy at Swig. There's one like right here by my house. It's out that parking lot every day.
I would like to hear from anybody that doesn't live in Utah to like reach out to us and see if there's, a bunch of these little sugar drink places where you are, because they're all over here and they're always busy. Like always busy.
I guarantee if we ask someone if they have a dirty soda shop near them, they're going to think it's alcohol related. And here they're just like, we just like to put coconut syrup in it.
Oh my gosh.
It's not the same.
It is so weird. It is so weird. And, I grew up going to church, and I would still, sort of consider myself LDS.
Yeah,
I'm not really active, and obviously I drink coffee now, and I grew up thinking coffee bad, coffee's bad for you. You shouldn't drink it. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, let's just assume coffee's not good. And maybe it's reasoning that nobody is thinking about. If it's just because it's a hot drink, which is what that, church says, then why is hot chocolate not banned? But also, if it's because of the caffeine, then why is Coke and energy drinks good if it's caffeine? So what is it exactly? Because either everything is going to be banned, or that's just an old rule that they're still following that doesn't really make sense. So it's kind of funny. And I've been getting into coffee lately, and I wish I had before. We'll say that. It's kind of fun.
Coffee's nice, dude. Dude, I personally am like a quarter hot chocolate, 3/4 coffee in the morning. I'm good.
You do a quarter hot chocolate in the morning?
Like, yeah, fill the bottom of the cup with hot chocolate and the rest of it up with coffee. Just get a little mocha, if you will. That's my go-to.
Make yourself a little mocha. Well, it's better than going to the coffee shops that are around here and spending $7 on it.
Exactly. I can get the same thing at Maverick for $1.
Yeah, we got an espresso machine recently, so we've been making us little mochas and cappuccinos and stuff. It's fun. It's all fun. But yeah, dude. Anyways,
I said I should set mine up like I told you earlier, because then I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah. Well, I found something that I've been running into, because I started drinking lots of coffee, and it was like, we have a drip brew coffee machine that's a Keurig, so it also has a K-cup section on it. And it was getting to the point where I would like brew a pot of coffee, and I would have a couple mugfuls, or maybe I would have some and just like top it off a couple times in the morning when I'm doing my stuff before work. And then I would take a 20-ounce tumbler to work and end up later on having an energy drink or something. And I'm like sitting there thinking, that's a lot of caffeine and a lot of coffee, and I don't need any of that. I really just don't. If I go without coffee for a couple of days, I feel normal, and it's kind of just got out of hand because I like it a lot. And so we stopped doing the drip brew thing as much, and so we're doing K-cups and espressos. So,
well, I mean, I think that probably transitions us well into our first question, since this is a Q&A episode, or the RFIs.
And which one is that? Which one do you want to go over?
Dude, yeah, so someone asked, I can't remember the username off the top of my head, but it was, how do we make food and nutrition easy, like eating better easier in the trades, right?
Yep.
And like Jaden with his coffee, you just remove the barrier to entry, and then you can just have coffee all the time.
Yeah.
You just make it accessible.
And then it just becomes a problem, and then you gotta do something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. You're just gonna be eating quinoa and rice all the time because it's in your house.
Oh, geez. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
uh,
so what do you do to make it easier?
Dude, I don't love cooking. Like, I like the end result of cooking. Don't get me wrong, but I don't
Hmm.
love it. Like, I don't love how much time it takes. So it's like a simple thing is to tell you to meal prep. Go out maybe Saturday or Sunday, go to the store, get everything you need, meal prep it, then it's all in the fridge. You're good to go. Like I said, I don't like cooking, so I went and got the air fryer, or we have our Blackstone with the air fryer, or Christina just got one of those Bighorn grill things from TikTok, and so it's like I can make a steak in like 3 minutes, which is dope. So
Yeah.
it's like as long as I season everything and like I don't overcook it, it's good. But that's how I try to do it. And there's things at your disposal, whether it's you got a buddy that's a trainer, or even ChatGPT, or just something simple. Like there's so many ways to find a meal plan of like I want to hit this many, you know, it's macros, but it's like I want to hit these calories, I want to hit, whatever it is, you can input it and something will make it really easy for you. And then you just kind of tweak it to like each week of I like to eat that, or I don't like to eat that, or those little things. So like my go-to meal is always like for lunch, I'll prep out a bunch of stuff of like spicy salmon bites and then throw it over jasmine rice.
Cool.
Pretty simple. Gets my protein in. Lunch or breakfast is easy because I just make like what's the quick oats, and then I put a scoop of protein powder in it and some honey,
Hmm.
stuff like that, and then like or go get how do you say it? Is it oikos, whatever the Greek yogurt stuff is for
Yeah.
break and snacks, and you just you just try to like set yourself up for success because like I bet you probably have time Saturday and Sunday to set your week up to do that sort of stuff,
Hmm.
and then just use the resources that you have, whether it's a friend that's already in that industry or something like ChatGPT, and just kind of map it out.
Hmm.
It's kind of our overall theme with everything is being intentional, right? Like, oh, I want
Yeah.
to eat better, so how do I do it?
Yeah. Well, and it's hard. I think a lot of people complicate the meal prep thing too much, and I know I do.
Hmm.
And part of my issue is always that I'm not sure I want to eat the same thing all the time, or I don't want to spend the time meal prepping. So I know kind of a lot of the things that people get prevented from doing this stuff. I've been in the same boat. And what's
Hmm.
made it easy for me was when I got that electric lunchbox that heats up. I just started bringing leftovers, and usually
Hmm.
we eat pretty good dinner and we have decent amount of leftovers, and I just load that up and take it, and it ends up being pretty easy. And I've never eaten breakfast. It's never been a thing for me. Like I used to, when I would stop at gas stations a lot, I would get a donut and a whatever. And we've ran into the gas station before when I've done that,
Hmm.
actually.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna say used to.
yeah, well, and it used to be an everyday thing, is what I mean. And so I do that still sometimes. I just grab a donut
Yeah.
because I like donuts and whatever. Also, though, the thing is, and I think this is true for a lot of people in the trades, but especially for me, is I don't eat enough. So it's kind of hard
Hmm.
to eat. It's kind of hard to eat poorly enough to mess with your health enough when you don't even
Hmm.
eat that much to begin with. So
Hmm.
it's never really made sense to me how people can overeat and do that type of stuff in the trades. I mean, most of the time, especially if I don't bring a lunch, I don't end up eating until dinner. So I
Yeah.
just freaking eat as much as I want at dinner. And but the problem is I don't eat enough at that point either. Lately, I started eating German pancakes in the morning. My wife's been making German pancakes a lot, and
Hmm.
um, she feeds them to our son, so he eats those. But it's super simple, and I have enough time in the morning that I can make them and eat them while I'm working. Like it is a freaking protein packed meal. Literally,
Hmm.
it's 5 eggs, a cup of flour, a cup of milk, and then I put a scoop of protein powder in. So it ends up being like 60 grams of protein. And
Yes.
it's like a
Yeah.
little, it's like a little sweet treat. You could put syrup with it, or I just put like a little powdered sugar on it. And that's been something to help me lately, to where even if I don't eat lunch or bring lunch, I've eaten breakfast, and it's a good meal, and it's plenty of protein, and then it'll kind of hold me over throughout the day. I think the main thing I focus
Hmm.
on is not eating if it's not good stuff. That's kind of what I'm like. I don't eat fast food anymore. Just be intentional. Like we say, if you plan it out better, no matter what, it's going to be a net positive. Even if you don't have everything perfect, you don't have perfect ingredients, you're not making like, maybe you're not counting your calories perfectly, maybe you're not counting your protein perfectly. If you're at least planning your meals out, you'll be better off than if you're just flying by the seat of your pants and you get an energy drink and a donut in the morning, and then it turns into, you stop at the gas station another time, and then you get fast food, and then you're having like treats and desserts after dinner, and all of a sudden you've had 4,000 calories, and you're going to start getting some health problems and get overweight and stuff because you're overeating and eating garbage. So just be intentional. Pay attention to what you eat and plan it out, and know that it doesn't always have to be perfect too. I think that's the big thing.
I agree.
You don't
I
just
think people, like you said, they overthink it.
Yeah. And don't just beat yourself up because you missed a goal of yours that you had that was like all the way up here when it should have been down here. And then all of a sudden you just are like, okay, I just don't even care, and I'm going to eat whatever I want, and fall completely off. Just give yourself some grace and realize that nobody's perfect. And I mean, our coffee conversation should tell you enough about that. I get a little
eating
bit
sugar.
Jesse's overeating candy right now.
Yeah.
As long as you're not overeating and you're not only eating junk, it really just doesn't matter that much. If you're getting decent food the majority of the time, I think that's all you need to complicate it as. You don't need to overcomplicate it and overshoot a goal here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of let's call it intimidating. If you're like, I need to jump into this, but it's like, okay, if you're used to eating out every meal, or like, eating poorly, or like going to the gas station or whatever, just start small and be like, okay, I'm gonna replace, 2 of my meals with this, or like, and then just grow from there. And then eventually it becomes a habit. And eventually you're like, you replace the gas station or the fast food habit with the meal prep or the like healthier option, because you've slowly been building up to it. And I mean, that's all it really takes. It's just get it. It's the thing with anything else. It's like, you need to just get easy access to it. So remove all the barriers to it. Like I said, I don't like cooking, so that's why I got an air fryer. Like I don't, or like little things like I don't like, going to the store and going, okay, what do I buy today? So I just make, my shopping list with something else. So it's just, those are the little things you got to do. Just make it easier for yourself.
Yeah, I like what you said there about it's a little change every day, because I did the same thing. And, I've talked about this, I think, plenty, but I stopped at gas stations just like everybody else. And the reason why I kind of shit on it so hard is because I've done the same thing everybody else is doing, where you go into a gas station and you end up spending $20 on a bunch of random crap, and it's a waste of money and it's garbage. It's not good for you at all. And so I started little by little changing what I was doing. And honestly, until the last couple weeks, I have still felt like I've gone to the gas station too much to get stuff. And even until I just barely feel like, I am okay at bringing food to work, and I don't even feel like I want to go to the gas station to get stuff, because I'm more prepared. And I think part of that is I've been so against eating breakfast, but lately I've been eating the German pancakes, and honestly, it holds me over for plenty long. And so part of it was like, before I wouldn't want to eat breakfast because I felt like it didn't help me, and it made me more hungry, and it made me feel like sick or something. It was weird. But I found the balance there for something I could eat that's plenty of nutrition. It's a decent meal, and then holds me over. And then I have my lunch brought, so I don't even need to stop anywhere. So I don't even feel like it. So it takes time to figure all of it out. I think people see examples of people online that are like, oh yeah, I started eating clean. I look at my diet, I look at my meal prepping, and they'll take pictures of all their meals and like, oh, I'm basically saying how perfect they are. And they're not sharing everything, because it is not that easy. It just isn't. So maybe for some people.
It's not like I still go to Maverick all the time. The little green chili breakfast burrito slaps. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, and if you're in a pinch, something like that's perfect. So for a while, I wanted to actually create a little guide of what you could eat at a gas station that's going to be decent, because people go to gas stations all the time because they're not prepared. But like, if you're in a pinch, yeah, they're great. They're awesome. But then it comes down to, do you have the money and the disposable income to spend at the gas station? And most people, the answer is no. Most people don't, but they still do it anyways. So yeah, I mean, it takes time, it takes figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's all I gotta,
Yeah.
all the rest I gotta say to that. So let's go into this next one. And we got a question from Brandon. And for reference, he's someone that follows me, and he does like structural concrete and lots of form work, and I think rebar work that they've got to do.
Does he have rusty rebar?
He probably does. He probably does. I need to ask him about that. For anybody that doesn't know, Jesse had to freaking scrub rebar with Coke to get rust off, because apparently you can't have rust on your rebar.
We had a fresh out the box inspector on Friday.
It's one of those things that you just got to be like, whatever, dude. Whatever.
I'm going to do this until you turn around.
Yeah. But anyways, Brandon asked, what is your favorite part of your job and why? And well, Jesse, what is your favorite part of your job and why?
Dude, like I told you, I really like the people I work with. I think it's fun. Like we've got some characters at work, and there's people I've known my whole life. Like Scooter's worked for my dad for almost 27 out of the 29 years. So it's like, then they're all just good people. Like I like the camaraderie. I like, getting into the shit with everybody, and, coming out on the other side of it, and being able to stand back and like hey, we built that, that kind of legacy, and building that with the people that I do. So that's my favorite part. It's between a combination of those things is the people and the camaraderie. And then also the, like, when you get done with it and it's satisfying because you're like, okay, I did that. Like we did that as a team with our hands, and like now it's built and we brought that to life, and it's something that people are going to use all the time, or it's someone's house that they're really stoked about, or whatever it may be. But if I was going to pick out of the two, I'd say the people that I work with are probably my favorite part, because we're all characters.
That leads me into my next question. Do chickens have large talons?
Why? Who asked this?
It was old Saint Brick.
Shout out to Mikey. Yeah. Mikey's just a walking dopamine hit on the job site. But yeah, it depends on the size of your cock, Mikey.
I've seen his and Steven's little dancing videos they do. They seem, both of them, like
they're fun.
Funny guys. I know Steven fairly well, but I've met Mikey only a couple times, but
yeah, they're good. Everybody on site's pretty cool. So it's fun. Yeah. It's nice. And then
I started asking some people that I interviewed about this question, actually. What's your favorite part of your being in the trades, I think is what I try to ask that question at the end of each episode when I'm interviewing somebody. Sometimes I forget. Most people say the camaraderie. Most people that I remember say the people they work with, tackling a project and overcoming something. And you'll get the people that are like, oh, we're trauma bonded. We're all trauma bonded. And at some point, you agree, because you guys just barely trauma bonded over scrubbing some rebar. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some fun stuff like that. It's hard if you've been in it long enough to even imagine doing something else, and it's the same. I think that's the same reason people even enjoy their army experience, being in the military. A lot of it's down to your brotherhood that you have, your camaraderie in your workplace. I would say that's one of mine as well. But I think my favorite part is about mine specifically is being able to do something different. And I've discussed this a little bit before, but some days I feel like I'm a framer, and some days I feel like I'm a concrete stair finisher. And there was a few weeks ago that I spent basically the entire day riding power trowel. It's like we have different stuff all the time with our job, and I kind of like that, being in a different place. We're not on a job for more than really 2 days in a row, and mixing it up. Part of that's hard. Part of it is like it's kind of interesting, mixing it up and traveling around. We have certain subdivisions we bounce back and forth in between and whatnot, but I like the mixing it up of it.
Yeah, it would suck to go to the same cubicle and do this, like stare at the same computer and all that stuff all the time, Whereas like if you came from this world and you're like, okay, you're just gonna go to the same office every day. It's like, because you're every couple days, I'm every couple months. It's it is fun because you get to be somewhere else in a different environment and deal with different people, and it definitely keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, well, I mean, imagine doing that for 30 years, dude. Going to the same
Mm-hmm.
place for 30 years. I mean, what do you do
Mm-hmm.
what do you there? Nothing
Yeah.
ever. I mean, it's not that melodramatic, but it's like still. I mean, a lot of people switch jobs every few years, anyways. Like, I think what the average time someone works at a certain place is only like 7 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just the change up. And I know, so you guys have all said, you and all your guys have said you want to run those riding power trials.
Yeah.
So that's something everybody wants to do, except for the people that have actually
Do.
ran them are like, nah, dude, get me off this crap. I mean, my dad did that for 10 years or something. He started
Yeah.
off in the commercial world and he said it was miserable and he doesn't even really like running them. And we've got 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we really only use them a few times a year because we only do a few small floors a year, and that's kind of enough. It seems like because after a while
Yeah.
it gets old and boring, and it kind of sucks to like running them. But that's exactly why like I don't think I would like doing commercial concrete because I wouldn't want to sit on one of those all day. And at the point where I'm at, that would be what I do. If you start
Mm-hmm.
off in commercial concrete, you're not gonna. If you're just barely starting, you're probably not gonna run one of them for a couple of years or a few years. Like, yeah, I mean that's just what you do, and I don't want to do that. And the problem with that is
Mm-hmm.
you get stuck on them until it's done, and sometimes that's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way about the telehandler. Like everybody thinks the
Yeah,
telehandler's awesome. And I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I got stuck in one for like 2 years because, I
yeah.
just kind of worked my way through it every job here. And then I got good
Uh-huh.
at it. So they're like, no, you got to stay in it. I'm like, bro, do not ask me to sit in that unless it is 5 degrees outside. If it's 5 degrees outside, I will put my coffee in there and I'll sit in there. But other than that, don't ask me to do it.
Do you guys have a cab and a heater in there?
Oh yeah, we're
Oh,
quite
dude.
bougie over here.
Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah. Stick me in one of them. That wouldn't be bad in the winter.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the
Bro,
time, maybe not.
the new Gale has an AC as well, like a real one, not a fan.
Really? That's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice.
I think it's
So
over
like that
here.
part's nice, but yeah, you get stuck and it's just mind numbing. So like I bet the power
Yeah.
trial is the same thing. And that
Yeah.
is a nice thing about our job is you can grow and like do other things or like, everything every day is different. There's a lot of things to keep you on your toes. That is nice.
Yeah. So I mean, that's part of that's the big thing about where I'm at too, is I know how to do everything so I can, and I just jump in wherever needed most of the time. And so it's like
Right.
I like to, yeah, I like to have that mix up, and for us specifically. But I think, yeah, I had something else I was going to say about that, but must not have been important enough. I forgot it. So
No.
right. So we have another question, and this is one we made up from running out of questions that aren't all the same because everybody asks the same questions. So we have one that we found. What is a big misconception people have about your trade? I'm interested to hear what some misconceptions are about the masonry stuff, block and brick masonry.
Dude, I think the biggest one is people just assume that you're stacking bricks on top of each other, and it's really, really. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's rocket science and that we're building a rocket or a piano, but they think that's all it is, right? It's just like, oh, you just put a brick on top of the other one. It's like, well, like a brick, for instance, I don't have my Supreme bricks downstairs, but a brick can tilt on, multiple different axes. So like to lay a smooth wall, it's like you have to repeat that process over and over of like where they're like the breaker one, they're sitting like this. They're not tipped here. They're not tipped here. They're not tipped here. Like, and so to be able to get, like I said, we're not building a piano, but to get to the point where you are able to do that in rhythm without having to maybe to do it efficiently in rhythm is harder than a lot of people give it credit for. Like, yeah, I can show you, you've been on site and I'll be like, Jaden, go lay that. And it's like, I can walk you through how to lay one, but
Yeah.
in the time that you lay one, I can lay 6 and like keep going and they all look the same. Right. So I think that's the biggest misconception in masonry is that everybody just assumes it's easy because most people that are really good at it make it look really easy because they're only doing, the goal is to lay a block or a brick or a stone in the least amount of movements possible. And so, people that are really good at it make it look really easy because they're really efficient at it. I think that is probably a lot of the issue or the biggest misconception behind, like, I'd say a close second would be like people assume that everybody in the trades or in the masonry industry is like a drunk or a drug addict, you know? Because like, I get it. We have a reputation. It's like back in the day, masons were known for like you'd work as hard as you could, and then when it got to winter, you'd go hang out at the bar because you're not going to work outside, and you've made enough money. And that's just that's just little things that I think that's
Yeah.
the construction industry as a whole. Is people just assume that we're in construction because like we didn't have another choice, and it's not the case.
Yeah. Last time we had an episode, I mentioned the show Good Will Hunting, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good show. It's a really good show. I love that. But towards the end, Ben Affleck, I don't remember his character's name, tells Will, he's like, "I swear, if you're still doing this in 20 years, I'm gonna kill you. You have a chance to get
Mm-hmm.
out of it." And it's like they paint the whole being in construction thing as like this absolutely back-breaking, like sweaty, dirty job that you're going to be stuck in forever, where they're like they were out demoing a building and they're just like killing themselves, and that's just not really what happens. Like I just don't even, that's a misconception. And I wouldn't say that's my big misconception, but just going along this line of thinking, like that's what people see in popular culture is,
Mm-hmm.
there's these actors up here being like, I fear making a movie, and they're like, if you're doing this in 20 years and you're wasting your intellectual talent to go do this shit, I'm gonna kill you. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like puts into perspective, it's like people think that if you do it, you are dirty and you are not smart enough to do anything else, and that it's
Mm-hmm.
back breaking work that is just like miserable all the time. So it's pretty interesting, and you can see how that might
Yeah.
have contributed to people's overall conception is stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, I'd say that you said mentioned that like people assume that people in the trades aren't smart, but it's like some of those old dudes you can walk up and be like they can do math like no calculator, nothing, whether it's on a tape measure or counting like units or like whatever they need to get to, and they can do it all in their head right there on the spot. And like it's like I mean, think about it. You're like, how do I figure out how many cubic yards of concrete do I need to fill a wall or to do a floor or stuff like that? And a lot of people in our industry can do that in their head or just simple
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Or how do I hit this height if I'm, we're this much high, but we need to get this much low and like all this sort of stuff. So that's another big misconception I think is that people, and maybe that falls along with the like, oh, you couldn't do anything else. So now you're doing this. But it's like a lot of the people in our industry are incredibly talented with things like mathematics. And it blows my mind. Like when they do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to toot my own horn here, but you probably would shit yourself if you saw some of my math books I have, because I did a lot of math
Yeah.
myself. And it's funny
Mm-hmm.
because if I tell people that I have like my associates of pre-engineering or whatever, and I just made it 75%, we'll say, through to a bachelor's, they'd be like, "Oh, so you couldn't make it through, huh?" It's
Yeah, you
not
failed.
even it. I realized I just didn't want to keep going with it because it was freaking, I liked learning and I liked doing the thing, but I didn't think I was going to like working doing that forever,
Mm-hmm.
because I just, I like moving. I like working with my hands, and that's something it took me a long time to figure out. So I can do math just fine, and I'm smart enough to go do something else if I wanted to, but do I want to? No, it was a choice, at least for now. I actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoy being out and active and contributing in a way where there's so many people going away from, or they're trying to get out of construction. Like I decided I'm going to stay in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, dude, I have a few, and so I don't know what the biggest one would be. I
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest misconception, I would say, and I'll add little sub points here for something else, is that you need rebar mats in all concrete, because it is just like absolute joke. Like you post a video of pouring concrete and then everybody's like, "Where's the rebar at? Where's the rebar?" And it's freaking nuts. It doesn't freaking need it. It doesn't need it. Like people think that this rebar is like this end all be all solution to concrete moving and stuff. And so like I understand some reasons why people want to put it in, but a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons are honestly just lazy reasons. So if you see the main problem, like let's say there's a concrete driveway that you didn't put bar in, but the subgrade prep was amazing. They didn't dig too much out. They put road base in, compacted it, gravel, whatever, and it's perfect, up to perfect spec of what you could want. And you pour, 4 or 5 inches of concrete. That doesn't need rebar in it. Okay. Even if you're pulling cars on it, it doesn't need rebar. Cars aren't going to break it. What the real problem is pouring on top of garbage soil. So if you had a house next door that had crappy, like they didn't prep the subgrade correctly, but they put rebar in it, all you're going to do is get the driveway that's moving and shifting around, and you're going to have freaking dips in it, but it's going to stay together. It's going to be good, but then it's going to be trash because, the ground has moved all underneath it, and the rebar isn't going to make it stay perfectly flat. It's just not going to let it separate apart, and it's still going to crack, and it's still going to do all the stuff. But, the house next door that had a really good subgrade prep and no rebar is just fine. So, I mean, it all comes down to what's underneath is more important than this freaking rebar that doesn't even actually help that much. I mean, it does little, and I can see why you'd want it, but it sucks too, because here people don't take care of their concrete and they'll drive on it in the snow, which is another misconception, and the top will fall apart. And then what happens when your concrete is falling apart and then you need to replace it because you didn't take care of it, and it's got rebar in it? Then you're going to fix the cost to get rid of it. So it's weird. So I understand why people think it, but I think it's a lie made up by big rebar to freaking get people to put steel in their driveway. Or it was a marketing tactic by concrete companies being like, if you don't have rebar in your driveway, they did a shitty job and you need rebar. Let's come get you a new one. So it's weird. It's not the answer to everything. And it also doesn't keep it from cracking. It'll still crack. It literally just doesn't let it separate. You can decide whether or not you think that's good, but it shouldn't if your ground prep is fine. But also you can't stop the earth from moving, so you could still do everything right. Earth could move underneath you. Could never know. Could be a freaking sinkhole underneath it. Rebar's not going to help. It's just going to freaking belly and stuff. Anyways,
do you ever
long tangent
use the fiber mesh stuff?
Yeah, we do. And so that's another thing is fiber mesh is a good, for just like any of your concrete, fiber mesh is a good thing to put in to help strengthen it. It stops the shrinkage and it'll help prevent cracks a little bit and just strengthen your concrete without the rebar deal. And the thing is too is most people aren't going to be putting rebar in, and it's not even because it's just more expensive and more time, and it's just not something that every builder is going to be doing. And it's not code to have rebar in all your concrete. If it's not structural, it doesn't need rebar. Concrete has plenty of strength, unless you're pulling freaking 40,000 pound trucks on it. It doesn't need rebar. So, and even at that, we've poured a lot of paving that's 8 inches thick and has 0 cracks, doesn't move, doesn't have rebar, just big fiber in it, and it's perfectly fine. So perfectly fine for, even at this point, years and years and years of getting beat to crap by big trucks. No problem, because the subgrade prep is the most important. So
yeah, that makes sense. If things don't settle under it, it isn't going to move.
Yeah, which even at that, sometimes you can't even control it to begin with. So it's just one of those things. People, it's been propagated by people that have this super strong opinion about it, and I'm over here more well, it's up to you. If you want to put rebar in, we'll put rebar in, but it really doesn't do everything you think. And the problem is people will be like, well, your concrete cracked because it doesn't have rebar, but it doesn't stop it from cracking. It just stops it from separating apart after it has cracked. So that's the best part, is people will be like, well, we have concrete, or we have rebar in it. How did it crack? It's it's concrete. It's going to crack. It doesn't matter what you do. It's going to crack somewhere, somehow.
It's a static product on a non-static surface.
Yeah, exactly. And the mesh helps it to flex a tiny bit. So we'll say that, the fiber mesh does that. Yeah. I would say another one about concrete is just that, the time frame, because that's a thing that a lot of people in the industry don't understand, that you can't just say, oh, hey, my concrete, I'm ready for concrete. Can you come do it tomorrow? It's
For sure.
Yeah, okay. No. So there's a lot of prep that actually goes into getting it, and you have to have your orders with the concrete company in at least a few days in advance, but usually they like them to be a week, especially if it's a bigger pour. You need to have your plan out because it's a one and done thing and you can't have any issues that come up during the pour. You know, you got to prep it first of all too, so you can't just like show up, prep it, order your concrete, and pour it. It just doesn't work like that. You got to have it all planned out. So it needs really a week, 2 weeks advance notice. I mean, we're like usually a week or two out on orders and jobs. So people will let us know, and we're like, yeah, we're 2 weeks out because we've got other people that we have planned out, and it just takes time to get all your orders in and have an idea for what needs to happen. So
I like those people in our world that are like,
pretty interesting.
I need you to come fix our chimney real quick. I'm like, well, I don't have anyone that can do that. And like, well, winter's coming. I need it done. I was like, and you could have thought about that in summer.
No, it's crazy. I'd imagine you guys have the same thing because I mean, it takes just as much prep for you guys to have a job, and then you're also there for quite a while. So, I mean, lining up the logistics on that is harder than people might think it is.
For sure.
And that's something your dad usually does, right?
Yeah, dad does the scheduling in the office and stuff. I just handle the problems in the field. So yeah, I mean, and that's like we got to do scheduling meetings every week, and we do all that sort of thing. But as far as going to the next job, that's on him.
Yeah, that surprised me when I had started talking to you a bunch that you, I mean, you guys are on a job for long enough that it's hard because you have so many contractors that you have your time frames that you need to hit. And so like one contractor isn't ready for you when you're ready for them, and that screws up everything else. And then you've got to kick it into overdrive to get stuff done because they're behind schedule and they want you to catch it up. And you're like, well, we're not magic. We can't just make this happen out of nowhere. Yeah. Well, I think we got all these pretty good. Looks like we had a little bit shorter episode today, but
yeah, I was like, did we miss a question? Did we?
No.
But we got
people just need to. People, if you count chickens, yeah, I don't know shit about chickens. I just know that they taste good and that eggs are good.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe this week is my fault because I got to the end of the week and I was like, oh shit, it's Friday. And I was like, I haven't posted asking about questions or anything.
Yeah, is a grind time of the year. We're just barely starting to, I don't want to say slow down, but have time. We're not pouring multiple times a day, and we're also not grinding out to get projects done, and it's just winding down a tiny bit. And then we'll have a complete halt almost once the snow starts to come, where we're going to have days where we can't even work from snowstorms and stuff. But it's been crazy till now.
Yes.
Awesome, dude. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And if you have questions for the next one, watch out for our story stickers. That's how we've been getting them. Or just DM us if you don't see them. Ask the question, comment on our post, whatever. We would rather you get on the sticker, but people aren't doing that. So, and then they just get lost. So we'll see them at some point, maybe. So
yeah,
and
we'll go back to the archives.
Yeah. If you got something out of this, share with a friend who you think will get something out of it. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. And Jessie, I appreciate you jumping on and doing some questions. And yeah.
Same to you, dude. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me. And make sure you subscribe to the Blue Collar Future podcast so you can help us out on all of our platforms.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. We'll see you guys next time.
See y'all.